back. My first guest just starred in the Academy Award-winning film No Country for Old Men, and beginning tomorrow, you can see him as President George W. Bush in W. Please welcome Josh Brolin. Very cool to have you on the show.
This I almost didn't make it here, actually.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, not like to the show, but just now, because I had to, I'm sorry I'm saying it on your show, I had to urinate.
You had to urinate?
I did. And
How
I had
dare
to
you
run
talk
here.
about urination on the show?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But thanks for letting me use your bathroom in your dressing room. I appreciate it.
That's all right.
You bet.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
What?
I love being on this show. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't know this, but,
no problem,
I used to live on the Upper West Side, you know, here in New York. And it was when I was a struggling actor and all this kind of stuff, right? And, you know, I would walk the streets because I didn't really have anything to do. I didn't have a job like you had. And I used to see you, and I don't know what it was, because every time...
Where would you see me?
on the Upper West Side. And I don't know if you live on the Upper West Side.
I live on the Upper West Side, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So anyway, I'd be walking around, and there you would be with your dog. You had a dog. And for some reason, that every time I saw you, there was nobody else around. I mean, in New York, when you see somebody, there's always a lot of people, and, you know, you have protection.
Right.
But every time I saw you on the street, it was alone, and you'd always look back at me with your dog. You'd see me, and then you'd go like that. Every time. And literally...
That sounds like me. I'm like that with... You could have been you know, like a 5-year-old girl with a lollipop had I done that.
Are you a scaredy cat?
No, yeah, just fearful of it. I'm scared of you now. I find you frightening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, I never really understood it. I never really understood it. You and Eric Bogosian, the playwright, every time I saw him, too, he always walked away, went the other way.
Really?
Yeah. It's,
maybe this is something
really
about you.
Built up my confidence, you know?
Well, it's good because, you know, it means that you're a menacing badass. This is good for you.
Now, I've just used it to my favor now.
You know, it's interesting. You now so well, you can play these tough. I mean, in No Country for Old Men, I thought your performance was brilliant. But you were playing this guy, one of the toughest guys, an iconic film figure, I believe. It was just a great character. Yeah. But what's interesting is when you started out in the business, you had a different image. You had kind of a pretty boy image, do you know? Yeah, you did.
Like you do now.
Yes, like me, yes. Yeah. Good to see you. How are you? Oh, yeah. You know, but you know what I mean? There was sort of a little bit of a clean-cut, hi, I'm Mr. kind of attitude
at first.
Still,
I don't grow a lot of hair right here, you know. I mean, I don't know. I had the square jaw. And I mean, Sean, last year we went to Toronto, right? No Country for Old Men. Went to Toronto, was screening there. I saw Sean there, and I hadn't seen him for a long time. I knew him a little bit as a kid. Our fathers knew each other. And Sean saw me, and he goes, Brolin! And he must have been drinking or something, I don't know. He's like, Brolin! And I said, what? How you doing? He goes, oh my God, I just saw you in this movie. You're great. You're fantastic, man. I'm so happy for you. I go, oh, thanks. And he goes, you know, I mean, when I knew you back when, you were kind of a pretty boy. You had the square jaw, the little nose. He says, but now, I mean, your face is all up now.
Thanks.
Oh. And you know, you have that moment where you're like the dog with the high-pitched sound. You're like, huh? You know? And he said, no, it's all good for you. Your career's going to take off. And, you know, there we go.
You never know how to take those things. Yeah.
No, I know.
Well, you know, also, let's talk about your dad for a second. Your dad, James Brolin, one of the most handsome men in the world.
Truly,
this guy,
tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah. What's your guys' relationship like?
No, we have a good relationship. I mean, he's incredibly supportive. I got into this business. I didn't really want to get into this business, and then I took an acting class, an improv class, and I really liked it a lot. But I don't know. You know, I mean, you have the story of like Sean Penn and my up face, and then you have my dad
screwed up face.
For some whatever. Can you beep it?
No, we don't have money to beep stuff anymore. I had a lot of GE stock. This thing doesn't even work anymore.
But my dad, you know, there comes a point, I'm going to say it once more, and just because I need to, but there was a point my dad was talking to me, or he was talking to me, I was sitting next to him, and I'm just kind of looking at him, you know, and he's talking to me, and suddenly I don't really hear what he's saying, and I'm kind of looking at his mouth, and I'm looking at his perfect hair and his eyes, and I go, can I interrupt you for a second? And he goes, yeah. Yeah, what? And I said, you know, if I were a chick, I'd right now.
Oh, my God! just throw it over there.
Oh, I thought that fell from up there.
No,
actually.
well, something will soon.
My dad's up there going like this.
I gotta ask you.
No more expletives.
No more. You promise?
No,
this
I'm
is
going
a.
G. I'm
yeah,
going
don't worry.
G
We
now.
drove when the Mr.
I love
Matt.
the Lion King.
Yeah. Well, should we do a commercial? Let's do a commercial break. We'll have more with Josh Brolin in a second. Stick around. I gotta get back. I'm sitting here with Josh Brolin for an expletive-free session of the show, or not. It's really your choice.
No, I'll be nice.
Let's talk about No Country for Old Men. You became good friends with Javier Bardem when you made this movie, and both of your performances really amazing. It occurred to me later on, and I've watched that movie many times, that you guys are such, I got a lot of free time. Also seen Biodome like 60 times. Don't get a big head here, Josh. But it occurred to me that you watch the movie and for some reason there's this optical illusion. You feel that you two characters, because you're being hunted, you feel that you've had a lot of scenes together. In fact, your two characters never formally meet. You talk on the phone once.
No, we do. Yeah, we talk on the phone once. I mean, Javier, first of all, Javier just, he just called me. I talked to your guy earlier, and Javier had just called me, and he said, had left the sweetest message. You know, he was like, man, I heard about the reviews for W, and I'm very happy for you, and then hopefully, like, maybe next year, you know, you get a gold statue because I got a gold statue. Yes, we could be like friends with a gold statue. I was like, it was very sweet. But when we were doing the movie, we didn't meet, and there was toward the end of the movie, he had to leave. He had to go do Love in the Time of Cholera with Mike Newell. And so I was left doing that phone call by myself. And usually what happens is you have a guy reading who's not obviously Javier because he's not there. But the Coens had an earwig that you're supposed to put in your ear. And they had recorded Javier doing his lines. So basically, I said, you know what, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to use that. I'd rather just the script supervisor say the lines because there's, you know, it's more impromptu and you can react differently each time. So I go, okay, so there's part of the scene, the middle of the scene, where he goes, I know where you are. And I said, oh yeah, where am I? And he says, you're across the river with the money. And I said, oh yeah, where are you? And because of this earwig thing, I had gone through the scene over and over and over, and he says, yeah, I'm over here, and I'm waiting for you, and all this stuff. So finally, the Coens just say, hey, man, you got to use the earwig. And I thought, you know, I think this scene is going pretty well. I think we can get out of here. And he says, no, let's use the earwig. So finally, I put in the earwig, and he says, I know where you are. Where are you? I'm across the river, and then this. Where are you? I am in the south of Spain with some really beautiful naked women having a really good time.
It's not helping you as an actor.
Literally, you know, it's a heavy movie. I'm sitting there in the furrowed brow and all that. Anyway, a lot of guys,
Have you visited him in Spain? He's been here on the show, and he seems like he'd be such a fun guy. He must be like the king of Spain.
He is the king of Spain. I mean, he's so famous in Spain, it's unbelievable. And he's with Penelope now, which I'm sure just, you know, ups that whole ante a lot. My kids went through Europe. They did a kind of a backwards sea through Europe, and they did it third class, and they ended up in Madrid with Javier on my son's birthday, and, you know, took them out, so to speak, you know, during the playoffs for the World Cup. And, you know, my son's 20, my daughter's 15, and they came back. When they came back, and my son was 40. And my daughter was still 15, hopefully. You know. But he showed them a good time. He showed them a good time for sure.
Now we must discuss your portrayal of George W. Bush, our current president, in W. So many things I want to talk about. The first thing that struck me when I watched this movie is that you've obviously studied George W. Bush, or President Bush, and you've studied him carefully. Eating seemed to be a way that you hooked into his character. There seemed to be a lot of compulsive eating.
No, ADDing.
Yeah, what is that?
OCDing. You know, that whole kind of obsessive-compulsive thing that he does. And, you know, he's always moving. He's always doing something. I don't know what is the matter with him personally, but, I mean, other than what everybody knows is the matter with him. But, no, I was doing it, and he supposedly he eats Altoids a lot. That was the bit of information that I got, where I said, well, maybe I can incorporate it into this movie.
How many Altoids? Because you've studied him.
2 tins is what I heard.
2 tins of Altoids a day.
Yeah. So, hey, look, you know, I think what we should do is... Let me have one of those, please. All right. That's good. I like that.
It seems like in every, and Oliver Stone, the director, gets the camera in close, and there's a lot of you just pushing food into your face. It seems like he's just, you know.
No, I know. There was one scene I did with Richard Dreyfuss where Richard was, I don't know. You know, sometimes when you're, you know, today you're forgetting your lines a bit, and so I ended up eating 15 sandwiches in one day.
Right, just
because
you
I
did
had
so many
lost
takes.
a lot of weight in the beginning of this movie. I'd lost 38 pounds in the beginning of the movie in order to play him at 21. So after the first week, which was 21 to 25, I had to start putting on weight as quickly as I could. So I was eating, you know, everything that I could. I was drinking avocado and banana drinks, shakes. With,
right.
You know, I mean, I was just stuffing myself. So that was good for me, even though I didn't like it. But 15 sandwiches in one scene, I mean, it's ridiculous, man. You know, it's one of these things where you go like this, and they go, cut, and you go. No.
I do that in commercial
Please
breaks
let it
here.
come
Yeah,
up.
I eat whole pizzas. There's a great scene in the movie that I had forgotten about.
I'm disgusting on your show right now. I just realized. I just saw us from over here.
It's not. It's the show. It's the show that does it.
Is it the show?
Yeah, the classiest people. Dame Judi Dench comes on this show, and she's swearing, and she's naked. Yeah, it's just. It's a horrible show. We have a clip here from W. Anything we need to know for this scene?
This is a scene where I'm searching for words frantically and hoping to find them, and you'll see if I do or don't.
Let's take a look at this. I think I know what will happen. Let's take a look at this clip from W.
Yeah,
it's that. W opens tomorrow, and Josh will be hosting Saturday Night Live on Saturday. You're going to be great with musical guest Adele. You know what? Real thrill to have you on the show. Seriously, thank you so much. That was great. Very cool. Josh Brolin, we'll be right back. Sean Ellis, Helen Jeffs from Animal Planet's Living with the Wolfman.